Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're going to like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
I am a new farmer.
Yeah.
I don't come from a farming family. I don't have a farming background. I don't have a farming education. I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
I love that. That's how I do with my
Yeah, I
with
mean, if
my
I could
life.
have joined a sorority, but they're expensive, so I
They
just
are.
got some chickens, right? Mm-hmm. And that was all right. So why not some pygmy goats? We have one.
Oh, why pygmy goats?
Well, they're smaller,
Okay.
and so goats have this pupil, right? And it's vertical.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's a little off-putting.
It is.
And so you don't want a really big goat walking around. And here's the other thing. I think some of that can be blamed on...
Wait, you don't want it walking around because it has a vertical pupil?
Yeah, basically. Have you seen the illustrations in, mythology and legends where there's always this half-goat man walking around?
Yeah.
I don't know why...
Satanists love them.
Yes, why are goats always attributed to Satan? I mean, there's the horns and the cloven hooves, and I get it, but if you've ever hung out with a goat...
They're chill.
No, the Spirit of the Lord is with this little creature who just loves you and just wants to play headbutt
Even
for a
Jesus
little
said
while.
bad things about, remember, sorting the sheeps and the goats. Okay, I know.
I did say that.
Yeah, he did. But, I think, the Amish, we were talking about in the last podcast, they need a better...
Representation will be the goat PR.
Yeah, we need to start a PR firm for underrepresented groups. So goats maybe should be
part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are half man, half goat, we're still going to leave you in the Satan category. But if you are all goat, then there's some good there.
There is.
So we got the goats, and I was going with pygmy goats because they're smaller, and we have one pygmy goat. No, she's half pygmy goat, half fainting goat, which sounded like a lot of fun.
My gosh.
I don't know yet what happens with being only a half fainting goat. Like if she hears a loud noise, maybe she just gets lightheaded but doesn't pass all the way out.
You're little, so you don't fall as far.
Well, that would be the pygmy part. But the fainting part, she's only half fainting. So she hasn't fully passed out.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Her legs will stiffen up a little bit if she gets startled. But she's still young. We're still discovering.
You're still working on that, yeah.
But our guy is a Nigerian dwarf. So he's actually smaller. Ooh. He's feisty. He's fantastic.
Okay.
And
are these two going to mate?
No. So here's the thing with goats.
Yes.
Boy goats smell super bad, and they pee all over themselves and others.
Not completely unlike human males.
Right?
We don't stink or pee on ourselves
Sword
ever.
fights don't happen.
No.
The boy goats are notorious for this.
Okay.
And so when we brought him home, like one of the first things we wanted to do was band him because we were not interested in breeding. We don't know anything about goats. Go back to the part where I said I have no education and no background in this. We don't want to.
Yeah.
This is damage mitigation from the outset, right?
Right.
So we're just casually mentioning to a guy who has some knowledge that lives down the road, like, hey, we've got this goat and we want to neuter him. He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. And he reaches in his glove box and pulls out this little instrument and some rubber bands. Like, this guy just travels ready to neuter goats.
Dude, that's scary.
Yeah, he doesn't even have goats at his house. Like, why was that in your glove box? But
is it just goats that he neuters?
I suppose a rubber band is widely applicable.
I'm just
all
saying,
of
like,
God's creatures.
I want to like know exactly who this guy is and maintain like beyond COVID distance because I don't want there to be like Ollie is like talk to this man like you know, like, hey, this guy over here, like, we can pretend he's a goat and you know, I don't know. I mean, if you travel ready. That's
just neuter things. Well, it's not an instant process. For those who don't have like small pets at home where you have to take things into your own hands, you just put this little rubber band around the parts of your body that you don't want to be functional and usable anymore and secure the rubber band in place. And after a period of time, they like wither up and they're not a thing anymore.
That's delightful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was happening in my backyard. So I'm baby stepping into goat knowledge, right? I don't have a whole lot. But my heart's in it. Yeah. And I like to shop at Tractor Supply where other people know their stuff and I can pretend. Yeah. It's a fun environment.
Do you put on like overalls? Do you like how much do you look the part? Or do they recognize you come in like this one here from me, she's an outsider?
Oh, well, I was wearing the overalls.
Okay. You're half in.
They're super comfortable. I recommend them to everybody and I don't know why they ever fell out of fashion for
They're coming back.
Well, they need to stay back because like belts cinch you around the middle, that doesn't feel good to anyone, and it's also not a really functional structure. Why are suspenders not more in fashion? Or I mean, they're so functional. They look dapper.
My dad's never looked dapper, but he's also never stopped wearing suspenders.
I promise you, he looks dapper. I don't even have to see him. I know this.
It's fantastic, but yeah. I like it. You make a solid point.
Yeah. So I'll bring your overalls if you'd like. And you can get the name brand kind, like
Oshkosh Bagat.
Carhartts look Instagram ready, but they feel like they're made out of very stiff canvas.
They do.
They're not comfortable. Liberties are good and functional, but they're pricey. But there's a couple of brands out there, and it's like what the painters wear and the old men wear.
Yes.
And they're so functional, and they have so many pockets, and they just hang from your shoulders like a good pair of pants should, and you don't have to worry about them. They're just on there. So, yes, I'm wearing my overalls whenever I bounced into Tractor Supply, but I'd also forgotten to change my shoes, so I was wearing Crocs with socks.
Oh, Hayley, you were so close.
No, that's what I wear out in the yard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're waterproof. You can slip your feet in and out of them, so you're not tracking the chicken poop and the goat poop through the house.
But do the real goat farmers, don't they wear like boots or goulashes, right? Something?
My Crocs are boots, by the way. They're high-top Crocs.
Okay.
Like four-wheel drive Crocs.
My bad.
Yeah,
I imagine the wrong kind with the holes in them, like the Dubros.
The all-terrain Crocs. No, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready
good.
for this.
All right.
And if the other farmers aren't wearing it, then this is going to be the revolution that I bring.
You're leading.
Yeah, I've been wondering what my place was, but it's this. It's to revolutionize backyard farms with high-top Crocs because they're so functional and comfortable.
Yeah. Barnyard footwear is definitely another area that is probably underrepresented. So
we need to make a list.
It's happening.
Yes. It's like there's so many.
There are.
So I'm rolling into Tractor Supply looking the part.
Yes, you are.
Feeling the part.
Yeah.
These people don't know any better because I'm buying all the stuff.
Yeah, you are.
And we get out to the car, and I'm heaving a little under the weight of all of this goat feed, chicken feed things. When we were checking out, though, let me back up a second. When we were checking out, the cashier says, a lady just came in with a baby goat. Did you see it? It's a newborn. Its mother rejected it. And I was like, oh, gosh, she does not need us to see that. That is a thing that I could not ignore. Baby goats, like, whew, so cute. Glad we didn't see it. Get out to the car, look up. Here comes distressed owner carrying newborn goat with long, dangly little legs, looking pretty hungry. And I'm like, oh. We can't leave. And she had bought a bottle. I didn't know this, but you tell them you've got something that needs to be fed, and Tractor Supply will go make you a baby bottle in the back and even like heated it up. They handed her up. Yeah. My mother told me that goat milk, by the way, is the universal milk. If you have any mammal that its mother is not feeding it, or you rescue it and it needs nourishment, goat milk is pretty universal, and you can give almost anything.
Well,
it's
in
one of
my book, goat cheese is some of the most delightful cheese. It's creamy. It's delicious.
Settles better in your GI?
My GI is always bubbling. So
Fun fact.
Yeah, I don't really distinguish. I don't know what causes it, and I've now stopped worrying about it. I've just registered. So
there's no comparative analysis?
No comparative analysis. It's always bubbling. But goat cheese is like near the top, so I love that works out for all the other mammals that they're into it as well.
Well, the rumor is that it's less likely to make their GI tract bubble.
Okay.
But I will have to consult some science on that. So anyway, she's coming out of there with whatever Tractor Supply sells in their formula bottles. And the look on her face, man, like I should have just cranked up my car and driven away and just minded my own business. But no, I see somebody in distress, and I'm like, I can't leave you in distress by yourself. Scoot over and make space for me. I will stress with you.
Yes.
And so I roll down my window and I'm like, hey, I see that you got a situation here, and I don't have a mother goat, and I've never had a baby goat. But if there's any way that I could be helpful to you, I'd like to. And she's just kind of looking at me like, okay, thanks. Pull window up. But she's got her hands full. She's got this baby goat and this formula bottle and all this stuff going on. So I just said, there are some people on my Facebook who recently posted pictures of their baby goats. So if that one won't take a bottle, if you want to try it, like, I'll help you go track down somebody that's got a mama goat. I asked her if she had one, and she was like, no, I don't know anybody. So I said, well, I'll go with you to find somebody that does. We'll try. Here's my phone number. I'm sorry to be weird and in your face, and I'm going to leave now so you don't feel alarmed.
Yeah.
And I drove away and made it like a couple hundred yards. I don't know. And I was like, nope. That's not enough. I'm going back. And so I text the woman. I had a mutual friend with the person who had posted these pictures of these baby goats, right? Okay. And I'm like, hey,
6 degrees of separation with Hayley.
That is what social media is.
Right.
Like, hi, we're not really friends, but a friend of ours has baby goats. Would you mind asking her if we could just bring this other stranger and her baby goat to her farm to see if a mother goat might take it? You know, and sometimes cats will do that, or dogs will do that. Yeah.
And you just check to make sure that nobody's an ex-murderer first.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's an easy one to pass over on the checklist.
Did you know that most serial killers are, not most of them, but a large portion of them are white male Eagle Scouts? So
really?
To that extent, she was neither male nor Boy Scout that I knew of, so I felt a little safer.
That's fair.
Ed Gein's friend, perhaps, but not Ed Gein himself. So
right.
Anyway, we'd go back to the parking lot. I was like, hey, I know, I'm sorry. I told you I would leave you alone, but I was just thinking about it, and this is the picture of the lady that has the baby goats, and I just text her friend, and she has a farm near here, and if you want to try it, this is her name. And the girl's like, look, I've been trying, and I've managed to get a half a syringe in this baby, and it's not working. And yes, I'm willing to follow you wherever. I just want to give him the best shot. And she looked so defeated, and like I don't know how we feel about just like introducing race things. But
let's introduce race things.
All right,
I'm so into it.
So I live in the segregated South, right?
Yeah.
In one of the more segregated counties, historically segregated. It's just de facto segregation now.
Yeah.
Which is a more peaceful approach to just minding your own business in your own part of historically segregated places. But I'm a middle-aged white woman walking up to a car with a teenage or early college age black female.
Yeah.
And I'm like, keep knocking on her window, handing her my phone number. So she's got reasons to be uncomfortable.
Right.
But
Get Out is probably starting to play. Wasn't the movie Get Out where like the white family invites the poor black I don't even remember how it went exactly, but would invite black people over and then would like do something horrible to them and inhabit their bodies and murder them or something.
That sounds terrible.
It was really awful. Maybe it wasn't Get Out. And in a show that we don't research anything, I just remember when that show came in Atlanta and I was doing rideshare, there was a lot of like concern for a few minutes with my black riders that they were like, if I was too friendly with them, and they're like, "You're not one of those whatever Get Out people." And I was like, "Oh no, I would never invite you over to do that." Anyway, sorry.
No, we need a third so that they can Google these facts and be like, "Yes, in fact, Wikipedia says the name of this movie is or is not." We need that presence in here.
Yeah.
None of the disclaimer, none of this has been fact checked for accuracy.
God, no.
Please have grace for this. But
so you approach her window,
I'm this older white woman knocking on the car window of this younger black female and saying, "Here's a white person in the rural part of this county with a goat farm. Do you want to follow me to the stranger's house?" She's willing to do it because she's so invested in saving this creature, right?
Yeah.
Like that's significant.
That is.
And I was like, if you're comfortable with it, I was like, I'll either take the goat from you for you, or you can just follow me. She's like, I'll follow you. But I'm taking my own car.
That's right.
Girl. When we get to this place, so I've never met this person. I've never been to this farm that we're headed to. And she's following me, and she pulls up. She's got her mom on speakerphone, and you can tell her mother was not pleased. And she did look a little concerned, but was still willing. And we get out, and there are mama goats and baby goats everywhere, which was a good sign that at least this part of my story was credible.
First things checking out.
And then I go knock on the lady's door, and I was like, "Hi," and I introduce myself because it is 8 o'clock at night almost at this point, and it's dark, and she's coming out her yard in her pajamas. But she brings.
Wait, what time was it again? Sorry,
it was dark. It was 8. It was 8:30 because I had placed a takeout order at the Mexican restaurant, and I was like, "We got to save this goat fast so I can get over there and get my takeout order."
I care about your goat.
I care about lots of things at the same time.
There may have been goat in the fajita, which is an irrelevant side note.
Well, it was probably their cheese.
There you go.
So,
right.
Circle of life.
Circle of life.
I can care about multiple things at the same time. I feel like that's okay.
I do too.
So I had that priority in the back of my mind. But anyway, she gets out. This lady said, "I'll be on." So this girl had only recently gotten goats. This was a new project for her, so she was learning.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, I also am new to goats, and I'm also learning."
Yeah.
I get most of my information from like group pages on social media where people can share their ideas, both good and bad.
Right.
Like there are some things you should not put in animal water, no matter how many people on social media tell you it is a good idea. But by the same token, you can drop like black walnut into a trough, and it helps avoid having to worm the animals down the road, or what. Like it's a good natural dewormer or something. I don't know.
Helpful. Yeah.
Old farmer tactic. I don't know if it's accurate.
I think you can also learn on Facebook groups that the earth is flat. So there is some very good information in general. So either way, yes. Kind of like this podcast. Don't trust everything you hear.
Or trust all of it.
Or yes.
Take that journey to the edge of the earth.
That's right. Live dangerously.
So we're swapping, like, this is where I'm learning, this is where I'm learning. And meanwhile, we're trying to get this baby goat to eat something. And the lady who had baby goats in her yard said, "I think if we let the mother try, she may stomp it. It's dangerous. Let's stick to the bottle." And she said, "By the way, I'm new to this also." And I was like, "But you have like 80 goats out there." She's like, "Yes, they're all brand new."
Oh my God. So, you're going to come back in a few weeks. There's going to be like 3 goats sort of looking like they just escaped the bomb shelter.
Not only that, but this girl just followed me a 20-minute car ride thinking I was taking her somewhere with experience where she could get help. Only to find, no, it's us, just with a bigger obligation. But this lady does know a thing or two about bottles, though, and she takes the kid and is a little more forceful than we were willing to be. And when that goat latched on, I'm talking about like a shared sense of accomplishment, and we were so excited. And she sets him down, and he stands on his own, and his little GI tract starts working just like clockwork. And, we're celebrating that he's using the bathroom, and it was just beautiful. And we were like, "Really? Okay, good. All right." And I was like, "Well, I'm out. I got to go pick up my order, and I've got 10 minutes to get over there." And she left. So this girl, we made sure she had directions on how to get back to her house, and she messaged me back and was like, "I will never forget that you saw me and wanted to help."
That's Awesome.
She said, I'm going to college. I had just gotten home when I found the goat. I had just gotten home from an audition for a junior college marching band. And she said, I want to go to school to be a vet.
Oh, wow.
And I don't really know if that's my thing because here is this goat situation. And I said, no, I think that sounds, it looks like you are on the right course, right? So a day or two later, I messaged back and say, I want to ask you about your goat, but I'm kind of afraid to know.
Yeah.
And she said, well, he did pass away, but his sibling did too. And she said, the more I've looked into it, it seems to be something called white muscle syndrome, and it's like a nutritional deficiency. It affects the mother, so I've got some things I'm going to try with the mother, and I'll let her try one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to get her fixed, and I'll focus on breeding a different one. But I said, if you are still considering the vet thing, I think you got it.
Yeah.
Because you cared about the animal,
right. Yeah.
but you also have the inquisitive nature to get to the root of the problem. So I think the medical and the compassion works together beautifully in you, and I think that you'll do a great job if you decide to see that dream through. And she thanked me, and that was the end of that experience. So it was a win and a lose all wrapped up in one. Rest in peace, baby goat.
Rest in peace, baby goat. Yeah.
But made it casual farming friends. I don't know if we're friends. I think we're friends.
Yeah. I mean, you take a stranger to somebody's house after dark and fight for the life of a small animal. Come on, man.
Comrades. Like, we in it. We're buddies now. I just show up at her house tonight and be like, I was just stopping in to say hi now that we're friends.
That's right.
I wish that the goat had lived so it could really just have been that fantastic sense of celebration.
But the young lady was grateful that you had just taken the time to like see her and to encourage her, and I think that's like the point of that whole thing. That's the big thing. The baby goat, while a critical character in this movie, was expendable because the higher I know, but it brought people together, and that's really all that matters.
I cannot believe she was bold enough to follow me. I'm glad that she was.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a good thing in the end, but I felt awkward reaching out to her, and I know that she felt uncomfortable following me to a stranger's house, but I'm glad that she gave it a shot anyway. Yeah. Friends were made, encouragement was given, and for a hot minute we felt like winners.
Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.